The Rock Metal Podcast, episode 253, with Marius Danielsen's Legend of Valley Doom. Rock Metal Nation, what is up? This is John from the Rock Metal Podcast. That sample you just heard was Temple of the Ancient God by Marius Danielsen, who I've got on the show with me right now. He's got a new album called Legend of Valley Doom Part 2, which released via Crime Records on November 30th. And right now I'm being joined by the man himself to share some stories about the music and share more info about what he's got going on. So Marius, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely great to have you on. Let's go listen back to that track, Temple of the Ancient God.
How dare you disturb my sleep? Why have you come here? Entering unholy ground. No one has been here for years. So hear out the brave man from Valley Doom, who fought against the Dark Lord. You placed the feet and your king lost his life, died by the sword. Like we are here now, asking for help, in walking through fire and snow. The angel of light and the angel of hope showed us where we should go. Step into the light, my friend, so I can see you clearer. Help me make all sorrow end. Please come nearer. In the temple of the ancient gods, your questions will be answered. I know why you have come, so you see things clearer. The seven are not far away, so you know you cannot stay. Your quest is not over, you have to move on until the final battle is won. I wish you the best for your journey. The future is now in your hands. Here is a map for the seven. Now go explore foreign lands. We thank you for your guidance. The Dark Lord has ruled for too long. Soon we'll be ready for battle. With these magic weapons we're strong. So go
The map of the 7 ancient artifacts is now in our possession. Still, the quest is far from over. A long and dangerous road awaits. If we manage to get all 7 of the magic weapons, then the Dark Lord will stand no chance against us in the final battle. We already have the crystal sword. 6 still remains hidden. We will find them. And now, the journey begins.
All right, coming back from Temple of the Ancient God, power metal is balls. That's actually the note that I wrote down. Power metal is balls. Definitely a killer track. And I mean, it's probably almost impossible to talk about the songs independently, but what's the inspiration or the story behind Temple of the Ancient God?
When the people in Validoom got defeated by the Dark Lord in part 1, they had to find a way to, kill the Dark Lord. So they will ask the ancient god in the temple how to do that, and they get a map that tell the people of Validoom where to find 7 ancient weapons that will help them fulfill the prophecy of the Warrior King.
Wow. The funny thing is, like, you're laughing as you're saying it, but it's pretty pretty intense stuff.
Yeah, it's a bit nerdy.
You know what I was kind of thinking as I was, preparing for the interview and doing all the research is my wife plays a lot of Dungeons and Dragons, and it kind of reminds me of like that kind of storyline stuff.
Yeah, a guy actually contacted me this week and asked if he could use the Temple of the Ancient Gods song as a story for a version of Dungeons and Dragons.
Awesome. And your reaction was?
Of course he could. And I wanted him to do a live stream of it on YouTube so I could watch it.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic. I like everything that I'm hearing. We're bringing the world together.
Yeah.
One creative story at a time. Sweet. Now for Rock Metal Nation who dug the track Temple of the Ancient God will be excited to know that there is a lyric video that's available. So if you go to today's show notes at www.therockmetalpodcast.ca, you can go and check it out. Now, Marius, if you wouldn't mind, what's the story of the production behind the lyric video?
I can't remember the name of the guy who made the lyric video, but we approached him with first Temple of the Ancient God and then Tower of Knowledge. And he liked the music a lot, so he, loved to work on it. I don't know.
Cool. All right, let's go. Speaking of Tower of Knowledge, let's go and listen to the Tower of Knowledge.
We were met with open arms by King Eunotrian. In the evening, the bard was asked to tell the story of the battle that led to Validoom's defeat. Everyone gathered round to listen to his tale.
Let me tell you a story about the bravest man around. He gathered his men to fight, defending the royal crown. He was the symbol of freedom, ready to face the flames. He fought and died for the land of his dreams. King Thorgun was his name. It's the legend of Validoom, the legend of Validoom. And if you don't believe, then you can just leave. It's the legend of Validoom. Here in the Tower of Knowledge, I have seen it all. From glory to death, darkness and fear, their rise and their fall. The Dark Lord and his army, so hit the valley, we wouldn't last for long. It's the legend of Valley Doom, the legend of Valley Doom. And if you don't believe, then you can just leave. It's the legend of Valley Doom. They came through the Black Mountains, the cold and freezing heights, marching on with death in their eyes, preparing for the fight. They entered the forest of evil, surrounding Valley Doom. The heaven was on fire, and the Dark Lord would be there soon. It's the legend of Valley Doom, the legend of Valley Doom. And if you don't believe, then you can just leave. It's the legend of Valley Doom. The battle of doom was brutal. Mighty warriors lost their lives, slaughtered with no mercy, both men, their children, and wives. And so the story goes on for many, many years, until one day the people of doom would face their darkest fears. It's the legend of Valley Doom, the legend of Valley Doom. And if you don't believe, then you can just leave. It's the legend of Valley Doom. And if you don't believe, then you can just leave. It's the legend of Valley
Rock Metal Nation, it's John from the Rock Metal Podcast for a real quick break to let you know that Jay over at Metal Mayhem Radio is looking to help you get your band in rotation on his station. So go ahead and hit up Jay at studio@metalmayhemradio.co.uk. That is studio@metalmayhemradio.co.uk. Just go ahead and say that the Rock Metal Podcast sent you. He'll get you into rotation on Metal Mayhem Radio. All right, coming back from the Tower of Knowledge, which is, it's basically a ballad track, right?
Yeah. I actually wrote that song in 2010, so it's a bit old, but I couldn't fit the song on part one, so I decided to wait with it until part two.
That was actually my next question, is so then it must have come right around the time of part one, but now we're in part two. So where in our narrative does the Tower of Knowledge take place?
After the defeat of Valley Doom in part one, they seek refuge with another country named Eunomia. And when they arrive in that land, the bard, which is Matthias Blad, who sings Tower, he sits down with King Eunotrian of Eunomia and all the people in Eunomia and tell the tale of how things went wrong in part 1.
Wow.
So it's basically a recap of part 1.
In case you missed it, listen to Tower of Knowledge. Fantastic. Now, for Rock Metal Nation who dug the track Tower of Knowledge, will be excited to know there is a lyric video as well, which we mentioned while chatting about the lyric video for Temple of the Ancient God. Now, they do look different, the two different lyric videos. So if you want to go ahead and check it out, go to today's show notes at www.therockmetalpodcast.ca. Now, Marius, is it the same guy who did the lyric video for Tower of Knowledge?
Yeah, it's the same guy, but this time, since this is kind of a recap of what happened in part 1, I sent him the comic book that I got made for part 1. So the pictures you see in the lyric video is actually the comic book adaptation of part 1.
Cool stuff. Now, we've kind of been chatting a little bit about, the storyline. Obviously, part 2, there's a part 1. We've been chatting about part 1 quite a bit. So for Rock Metal Nation who dug the two tracks, Temple of the Ancient God and Tower of Knowledge, we'll be super excited to know that, well, part 2 is available, released via Crime Records on November 30th. So the big question, Marius, is when we pick up part 2, what should we expect?
I think the sound of the new album is much better. The drum sound and everything sounds much bigger, I think. There's a couple of more slower songs on it, but also more heavy and fast songs as well. And the star lineup, the guest vocalists and stuff is bigger on part 2, I mean. We have Michael Kiske, Tim Ripper Owens, Blaze Bailey, Olaf Heyer, Michelle Lupi, Mark Bowles, Bruce Kulick from Kiss, Jennifer Batten from Michael Jackson, and yeah, the list goes on.
Wow. You're a busy guy.
Yeah. It takes some time to bring all of this together.
Cool stuff. All right, now the next logical question on Rock Metal Nation's mind, who've heard Temple of the Ancient God, Tower of Knowledge, they're just frothing at the ears. They want to keep in touch. Where should we go on the web to stay in touch with everything you?
I'm trying to do a YouTube channel now, so you can find me by searching for Marius Danielsen there. And there's also mariusdanielsen.com, where you can find all my music in the web store and stuff. And of course, Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. I'm everywhere.
Cool. All right. Well, Marius, unless there's anything else you wanted to throw out there, I just wanted to thank you for taking time out of your day to come onto the Rock Metal Podcast and sharing, well, Legend of Valley Doom Part 2 with Rock Metal Nation.
Thank you so much for having me.
We were met with open arms by King Eunotrian. In the evening, the bard was asked to tell the story of the battle that led to Valley Doom's defeat. Everyone gathered round to listen to his tale.
All right, Rock Metal Nation. Hopefully you just found your new favorite band in Marius Danielsen's Legend of Valley Doom. Big thanks again to him for coming on and sharing his music with us. Make sure to head over to www.therockmetalpodcast.ca to get all the information on the show you just heard today. And until then, rock on, Rock Metal Nation.